Thank you, Karim, for the introduction. I know some of you had never met me. Some few we have met, some others I think you know me from different social media platforms. I'm so glad to be here today. My name is Flavia Kalule Nabagabe. I'm a teacher professionally. I teach English language and literature in English in Namiriango College. I am also an activist, mainly a women's rights activist, human rights activist. I am also the team leader of the Women League of the People Power movement in Uganda, as well as the incoming woman member of parliament, Kasanda District. So I am so excited to be in Boston today. I know most of you were expecting Honorable Kyagulanyi, and we apologize that he is not here. But I am truly grateful and happy that you all took the time off to turn up, to come, because Honorable Kyagulanyi says people power is stronger than the people in power. So this is not a struggle for one man. One of the problems that is killing African democracy is individualization, the big man syndrome. We need people to own the struggle for change. We need ourselves to be the ones to lead it. Honorable Kyagulanyi is going to go away one day. There are so many alternatives. There are so many ways in which Honorable Kyagulanyi may not be in this struggle with us for long, God forbid. But if he was not around, what would happen to the People Power movement? Would we simply say that is it, that is the end of it? No, we would continue. So he sends his love, he sends his regards, he sends his apology, but he knows that we are together, and together we are united, and united we are stronger. Growing up, I was born by two people, a doctor who was a gynecologist, medical superintendent for Lugazi Kawolo Hospital, and a teacher, grade 2 teacher for primary. These two people never knew that Flavia Kalule would emerge today. My mother was so much of an NRM person. She was actually the resident district commissioner, RDC, for 3 districts in Uganda: Mubende district, Kabarole district, and Nakasongola district. However, growing up, I saw what was happening in my community. I would move around with my mother so many times, talking to different women, amplifying their voices. But I would also see what was happening in the communities. A community where you move around and women in this century still give birth on the floors. Women still give birth on the roads, walking to hospitals. Places in Uganda, so many, where children study under trees. Trees is better, but some of them study just in the open like this. Situations where there is war, they can't study. Situations where the weather is terrible, they cannot study. Situations where they cannot afford anything, they cannot go to school. Situations like these changed something within me. I knew I had to do something about my community. Most of the times, people ask me when they look at me, how is a woman like you involved in politics? Usually the questions come in like, politics is a dirty game. Why are you in politics? And my question to them is always one. Nature hates vacuums. If politics is a dirty game, definitely someone dirty will be able to occupy it if we who think are clean are not occupying those positions. So we, the clean ones, in quotations, why are we running away from politics? Uganda has 80%, 83 ministers, and only 30 of these are women. We have a parliament full of 449 members of parliament plus. only 137 are women. Today when I look around me and I see women here who have taken off time to join the people power struggle, despite all the disadvantages, despite all the challenges, I'm really glad that we have you. When I look at Councillor Charlene here, who is involved in politics here, Councillor Dorothy, when I see you, I know that Uganda is in good hands, because Thomas Sankara says a revolution without women is what? Dead at birth. So we women have to kwebereramu, especially in this people power struggle. So everyone here today, every woman here today, can you shout very loudly that people power? Our power? Thank you so much for taking up the mantle. It is not because you do not have families, it is not because you don't have children, but it's because you know the pain that we go through back home. All of us here today, some of you may see us whenever we are getting beaten down, whenever we are getting run over in town. I am so happy that you guys are here. But back home, things are not good. Back home, every day you live it as if it was your last day. Back home, people are getting kidnapped regularly. Back home, people are getting murdered every day. And yes, it would be normal for people to die and get kidnapped. However, the difference is that most of these are targeted opposition leaders. When I say leaders, I don't necessarily mean a person with a title. I mean someone who has been outstanding, who has come out to speak against the evils which we see in our communities. How do you do this? Whenever you post anywhere on your social media pages, you are a target. Whenever you speak out boldly for change, you are a target. Whenever you converge like this, showing that you're standing in solidarity with others, you become a target. But despite all this, despite the abuses, despite the tear gas, despite the denials, we do not enjoy this pain. However, we have something deep within ourselves that always drives us to change. We do not enjoy being beaten, but the pain of seeing Uganda, our motherland, Uganda, a country we call home, Uganda that is supposed to stand the test of time, that even when you're here, you can comfortably come back home and say, I am proud of being in the Pearl of Africa. That country is going down the drainage. And it is not because there are no good people. It is not because Uganda lacks leaders. It is because people have been pushed too much to the corner that the fear is tearing them apart. The fear has moved them to silence. People are self-censoring themselves. People are not comfortable speaking out. People have a lot of fear within and outside their homes. I was in Seattle recently, and I was with a Uganda community just like yours. And one of them requested for the song anthem, Tuliyambale Ngule. And another person, another Ugandan, refused to play the song. It started as a small thing, but it ended up as a bust. The quarrel was so big that I got up and told them, you guys, you are in US. You haven't been to Uganda for quite some time. This song, whenever we play it, gives us hope. It has become a symbol. This song is our courage. This song is what makes us people power. It is what defines us. For you to start self-censoring yourself from way overseas, in Seattle, in the US, in Boston, for you to say, I will not speak about people power, I will not speak about politics, I don't want politics in my house, you are doing us a disservice. Museveni in the country is stopping so many songs from being played. Honorable Chagulanyi's songs, so many he has released, they are not being played. So many musicians are ending up in prison, or their songs, not played. But that is home. Here where you still have the freedom of speech and expression. How dare you get up one day and censure yourself and tell yourself, I will not be able to do anything about my country. Wear your red beret proudly. Inform the whole world that you are a member, because that is how we spread the movement gospel. I wear my beret in any country I go to, on any platform. I don't know whether I'm discussing economics, or I'm discussing GBV, or I'm discussing gender and what, any platform, because we have to share our movement with other people. As we speak, we have lost so many people to this struggle. We have lost brothers, we have lost sisters, we have lost parents. Some of you are here because you are incarcerated back home and you sought asylum here. Some of you are here not because you don't love Uganda, but because you can't even go back because of the environment. Some of you are here because of the economic conditions. As we speak, poverty has doubled in Uganda. As we speak, women are no longer 16 that die every day giving birth. Every day we lose 19 women in Uganda giving birth. As we speak, 83% of the farmers back home are women, but only 16 of them own land. As we speak, journalists can no longer write freely. They can no longer do their work freely. As we speak, all live coverages were banished of political party actions. They were all banished from home. You can only do that after. As we speak, people are cocooned wherever they are, and some don't even want to be associated with Honorable Bobby Wine or even to be associated with any opposition because of one person, because of a few individuals, because of people who believe that they own Uganda, because of people who think that they are more Ugandan than others. And yet, if I recall, my history tells me that we are all immigrants in Uganda. We all came from different parts of the world. There's only one tribe in Uganda that rightfully own Uganda. Only one. There? Not the Batusi. Who knows the people from the Batwa in Chisoro? The Batwa, the ones we call pygmies, they are the only rightful owners of Uganda. So if we are all immigrants, why don't we feel like we can own Uganda together? Uganda is bigger than all of us. People Power is bigger than all of us. Today it will be Flavia in the struggle. Flavia will get erased because I'm just a dot on the map. What will happen? Shall we get another Dorothy sprouting to take on the cause? Or shall we simply coil back and hang our tails in shame and say that enough is enough, I cannot do this? So many young people who are the majority in Uganda, you shun away from politics. You shun away from activism. You say not going to be given to us, young people. If we do not actively engage, how? If you do not contest as a candidate, if you do not support the candidate of your choice and non-silently speak out, defend, write articles, go on media houses, seize all the platforms. If you do not come out to fundraise or to put money in anyone's campaign that the person that you feel you support, you are wasting time. And one time you're going to be old and your children will ask you, Mommy, Daddy, where were you when Uganda needed you? What were you doing? How did you perceive that message? Why did you dig this hole for me? Because as long as we remain apathetic, as long as we remain saying Tevi Nkwatako because I am in Boston and I have everything I need. Even if they kill anyone out there in Uganda, I don't care. As long as you remain saying, let Museveni rule until he feels like he's tired and dies. You are the people that are digging the grave for Uganda. You are the people. Comrades, the Pearl of Africa is stuck at crossroads. The Pearl of Africa, our homeland, our country, is stuck at crossroads. The people in power fear the people who are not in power. Even us who are not in power, we fear our leaders. We don't want to contest. We don't want to seize opportunities. Yet we keep blaming those who take the courage to do it. If the person of your choice, if Honorable Bobi Wine makes a mistake today as he's speaking, or as he's saying something, or because he did not turn up, do not blame. Rather say, what can I do better or differently to continue with the struggle? We are currently contesting 2 hot seats back home. Hoima by-election and Kabong by-election. Those beds are NRM beds, so it is said. But we know that everyone is ready for change. By the way, Uganda is pregnant for change. And a pregnancy, whether you want it or not, once it is the time, the baby has to come out. It will either kill you because you're trying to suffocate it in the process, or you will come with it. Uganda currently is ready for change. And it is upon us to deliver the baby. So what are we going to do to ensure that we deliver that baby? Tugenda kuzala tutyo omwana oyo Uganda. Tugenda kola chi? Campaigns etulimu eka. That is one way of making sure that we deliver the babies. These people are using the numbers they have in parliament to overturn everything in Uganda. The members of parliament we have become marketeers, if I can say. They are people in the market. Currently, after the 20 quarter code, they were given a lot of money. But because it wasn't completed, some of them are even asking for balance. And now those are the kind of leaders we want to contest, we want to continue pushing into parliament. Yet we have our own people who are struggling because of finances, who are struggling because of low levels of education brought upon by the poor education system we have, who are struggling because of health conditions, poor health conditions, where kids die prematurely and do not live to attest to their dreams. What is the little you can do? You don't need to wait for Arao, the coordinator, to pass a fundraising campaign or rally. You don't need to wait for Karim to do that for you. If you know anyone back home, you know any coordinator back home, can you just pick the money that you have and say, hey, I have this, can it go into the campaign? Members, I contested as a woman member of parliament in 2016, Mubende district, before it was split. I was the second. But I got to appreciate that every shilling counts in an election, in a campaign. Every shilling counts. You may look at your dollar right now and you think it's not going to do anything to change, to cause a change. You may look at the $5 and you say, this is very little money. It cannot do anything. $5, if you send it to Uganda, it will be able to buy water for people at the rallies. It will be able to fuel someone's car. Because abaganda bagamba kamukambwechi. So whatever you bring and I bring, whatever little we have, it makes a difference. Do not stay here and say there is nothing I have or I have too little to cause a difference back home. There is never too little. Whatever you give us, we appreciate it. And the people in the diaspora, your key roles for us, We who are in the struggle back home, of course you too are in the struggle. Sometimes I'm amazed by the people, my agents. My agents sometimes feel the anxiety of elections even more than I feel it. Because they tell me, Honorable, they keep saying, Honorable, you're not the one who is contesting. We are the ones contesting because they have taken it upon themselves to make sure that they win. Can we go to that level where if Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi does not appear on that ballot paper as a presidential candidate, we are all losing out. So can we make sure that at whatever cost, his name is on the ballot come 2021? And after that, can we make sure that we rally all that we have at our disposal to ensure that he becomes the next president of this country, of Uganda? How? Call every person you know back home. They can vote. We are still in the process of getting you people in the diaspora to vote during the elections home. But they have a direct vote. First, tell them to do what? Funendaga muntu, get a national ID. Yes, I know that the Electoral Commission currently said among the electoral reforms proposals they have, they are saying we are not going to use electoral IDs for elections. Nonetheless, we need people to get the IDs. If they say we are using them, let us be prepared. If they say we are not using them, still let us be prepared. Because it is your right as a Ugandan to own a national what? ID. So tell them to get an ID. That is one. Secondly, tell them to register themselves. Before elections, there is always a cycle, a call for registration for voters. If that person is in Kabale and doesn't have transport, your contribution would be to give that person transport to go and do what? Register to vote. Ladies and gentlemen, Uganda's population is full of young people, but unless young people act, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi is not going to get into that space where we need him. So at whatever cost, let us make it extremely difficult and extremely costly for Uganda to lose him as the incoming president. Let us make it extremely costly for the international world to ignore that election in Uganda. Let us make it extremely difficult and uncomfortable for all the powers that be not to support Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi in the general election of Uganda. How do you do that? I'm happy that you have leaders here from Boston, the mayor, Mark McCarthy and Charlene. Use them. I'm happy that you guys were able to mobilize yourselves during the Free 33 people, Free Bobby Wine and group. Use that voice. I am happy that we can be able to use our voices, to use the various social media spaces we have, to use even the people back home to help us in this struggle. So can we all do that together in unison?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. And finally, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I'm a Mandela Washington Fellow from Yali. But one of the things I learned in that space is networking, the power of networking. Comrades, the people power is not going to win this war alone. I have heard voices from home, from the grassroots, that tell us we support people power, but unless we know and hear that country A and B support us, we are worried that we are wasting our time. We know that the elections may not be free and fair, or will not be free and fair. Because PK Besigye has been at it for years, and other players have been at it for years. Neo Musajja Aganye. Every year they lower his percentage to make it to give us hope that next year is the year when he's going. Every year they do that. But unless we create allies with other people, I am speaking this because you can create allies at a personal level. You don't have to wait for Honorable Kyagulanyi and Flavia or any leaders or Arao or Karim to say we are now going to China or we are now going to Washington DC or we are as people power to seek for support and allies. You too can have those allies within your networks. That's why we are here. I'm glad that Zimbabwe is here with us, because standing in solidarity right now is the solution for Africa to become Africa again. To become a superpower. Do you believe that Africa can become a superpower? Do you know that that change can start from Uganda? Do you know that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi can actually cause that change? Reason being, he has united generations. That man has united generations. He's simple as you see him. But he has such wisdom he has been blessed with by God, that he knows how to approach different people and unite different people. He has united people from different political parties. Leave the leaders behind. We, the people who are being led, we already know what we want. We are already united in our cause. The leaders will get on board. But he has united them to know that it is not about a political party. It is not about one individual. It is about all of us. We need the networks in and out of Uganda to propel this struggle forward. I know that some of our governments, including the Boston leadership, may not be able to give funds. But whatever they are doing, even their presence right now, is pushing this struggle forward. And for that we are grateful. So can we have more of such? I was speaking with a colleague when I was in Texas, representing Honorable Kyagulanyi for his award, Kawiye Boston. And he told me one thing. Empologoma teriachi? Mudo. That is something I really liked. That no matter what, eventually it has to look for the what? For the meat. Why should we allow who the Mpologoma is in our meat? Why don't we dictate which kind of Mpologoma we need? So that we can even throw to eat the meat we want it to have. When you have your own leader, he will not prey on you. You will dictate what kind of meat that person will be able to prey on. So if you have Honorable Kyagulanyi, if you have Nawagabe Kale Flavia as the woman MP of Kasanda, and you have her in parliament, she's the team leader of the Women's League, do you think that you find it so difficult to get what we want as a country? Do you think it will be that difficult? Leave alone these people who tell us to atere mundu. We appreciate that they went to the bush. But this is a generational cause. That was their cause. This one is our cause. Can we define our roles in this struggle? Each and every one of us here. Can you define your role? Can you know what exactly you're in this for? People power does not have money. And we are not going to give anyone money because we are bribing them to become the leaders or to vote for us. People power is so strong that even when I am doing my movements within my rural communities, the youngest person I can find at a village, like that young girl there and that one there, is singing people power. It is that strong. The oldest you can think about is telling you one thing. Muzukulu, tubasabira. Gwe, ne mutabani wange Bobby, tubasabira. We are praying for you because we need to see this change. Members, Honorable Robert Mugabe just died. May his soul rest in peace. But why is it that people are not concerned about his death? Why? Have you asked yourselves that question? The legacy you leave when you're still alive is how people are going to treat you in death. If you decide to do bad things only, if you decide to be a dictator, if you decide to abuse all kinds of rights, you violate every human right, you beat up people, you destroy systems and institutions, everything revolves around you, the one-man syndrome like we have back home. You are going to die, and people will say, my mom told me to never say anything when I have nothing to say. So today I will choose to keep quiet. And you will go quiet, you will not say anything about that person. But the good deeds you have will lead you up. As I conclude, each day I get the question, Flavia, Obugumu Obujawa, where do you get the courage from? Where Sigachi, what do you have that you feel you're so safe that nothing can touch you? We have questions like, at home, that I'm asked, is your family safe? Are you safe? These are questions that resonate with so many Ugandans. And my answer to them is always one thing. The answer is not in keeping quiet and choosing to fear. Because these guys know that they can do anything and we fear, they have chosen to keep us in fear. The answer is in speaking out and defining your lines clearly. Because even if I choose to keep quiet, I will end up dead in one way or the other. But I have to find it within myself every day. Every day when I wake up, I find it deep within myself. I find the courage to fight for my country. Because when I travel to countries like this, and I meet people like this, I too want that for my country. And these people did not get it the easy way. America too had its struggles, and that's why we are here enjoying this. If we do not choose to struggle like they did back home, we shall never enjoy this. And if God has called me, God has called Honorable Kyagulanyi, God has called all of you here to do this in the struggle, and we have to be dead in this, let it be. But we are not going to keep quiet, and we shall not sit down. Situka Tutambule says, if you cannot walk, crawl. If you cannot crawl, jump, do anything, do whatever you can to keep the struggle moving forward. So I challenge all of us here. Do not fear, have courage. Some of you said to Migo J Uganda, leave us to get the Migo. Let us get the Migo. Send us the money and we fight the war on your behalf. Have the faith that Uganda is going to make it. Have the belief that come 2021, whatever will happen, Uganda is in for change and is going to get that change. Have the faith and courage and belief and hope that the time is now. Had I come 2 years later, had Honorable Kyagulanyi come 2 years before, you would have told him he's too young to contest. If you were to come 3 years from now, you will say he's too old because that is not his generation. The time is now for Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi. The time is now for Uganda to get our generational president. The time is now for all of us to engage in this cause and be heard and be seen and stand up for the cause we believe in. Whenever we raise this fist, I raise this fist to show people that I am firm in this people power struggle. I raise it to show people that no matter what, I will keep moving. I raise this fist to give hope to that person who has given up. I raise this fist and wear this red beret proudly to show the whole world that we too can, just like other people did. Thank you very much for listening to me. Situka Tutambule, thank you very much.
right, thank you so much.
People power. Our power. People power. Hey, Bobby, oi. Hey, people power, oi. Hey, Boston, oi. Okweberam, oi. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karim, for the introduction. I know some of you had never met me. Some few we have met, some others I think you know me from